My mother helping me get in the car, my wheelchair. She taking my wheel off, breaking my taking my wheels off and breaking my wheelchair down, and watching your mother do that stuff for you. It's like, oh no, I can't give up. Like I gotta graduate because look what my mama doing. And she ain't no spring chicken. She would complain about, ooh, my back hurt today, and I knew what it was. It was her bending over, breaking my chair down. So it's like I gotta get my stuff together, lack of a better term, to help my family. And just watching what they sacrificed for me, like it just gave me that motivation to continue to strive.
We find ourselves questioning our limitations. What are we capable of? How far can we go, and what is it that could hold us back? And it's at these times that we truly find out not only our limits, but also we find out our potential, our purpose, our trajectory. We find out what we're capable of. And usually we find out once we truly lean in that we're capable of far more than we could ever imagine. That's really the whole premise of Hope Rising, to find out that as you lean into hope, as you challenge the adversity that is challenging you, you really find out what you're capable of. And this guest today is somebody who is going to help us really lean deep down inside and find out what are we capable of. And in the end, he's going to show us that the sky is not the limit at all. Actually, we're limited to something much greater than that, and the limitation is much higher than that. Guys, one of the special things about this show is that I've got a chance to not only sit down with people that I know, friends, family members, but I've also got a chance to just meet total strangers who inspired me, whose in stories blew me away. And this next individual, his story, when I saw it, I said, I've got to have him on the show. I've got to have this speaker speak life into my audience. So without further ado, Fletcher Cleaves, I want to welcome you to Hope Rising.
What's happening? What's happening, everybody out there in podcast land? I appreciate you for having me. Excited to be here. Excited to get the show
Yes,
going.
sir. All right, man. So you are a motivational speaker and author. You do so many great things, but I want you to kind of paint the picture for everybody. So for our listeners out there, would you let them know who you are, a little bit of your backstory, and then we'll just go from there.
Yeah, for sure. So Fletcher Cleaves, born and raised in Memphis, Tennessee, M Town. Everybody out there in the Mid South, what I'm saying, represent. But growing up, I was an active individual. I was the epitome of boys will be boys. I was doing regular boy stuff. Putting firecrackers in mailboxes and breaking windows and stuff like that. Not really any real trouble, just kind of boy stuff. But my parents wanted to channel that energy to something more positive. So with that being said, they put me in organized team sports. Once I got in organized team sports, I realized I was like kind of gifted. Around eighth or ninth grade, I was like kind of better than the rest of y'all. And I think that came from, I'm an only child, but I have a lot of cousins. So just always being competitive with my cousins and older cousins and things of that nature kind of made me more competitive than the average individual. And I was able to obtain a football scholarship my senior year of high school. And I'm excited to get my collegiate life going, get my collegiate life prepared for the upcoming stages. So I ended up leaving to go train for the upcoming season 2 days after high school graduation. And after that, I trained the rest of May, the rest of June, July. And, after July, that's when everybody has to report, mandatory report. So you got kids coming over from all over the world, all over the country, from different states. And like the competitiveness kind of increased. And I was able to obtain a roster spot as a true freshman. But unfortunately, on September 10th, 2009, a lady was texting and driving and ran my roommate and I off the road as we were headed back to the dorm, leaving Buffalo Wild Wings. And when that happened, she was on the wrong side of the road. I swerved to miss her. We hit a guardrail, tumbled a couple of times, and I ended up breaking my neck in two places and became paralyzed.
Amazing, amazing. And I've watched a couple of your interviews. And so one of the things that I've seen and heard you kind of explain is the driver just kept going. Did they ever even find out who she was?
No, they never found out who she was, man. You know, it's like say exactly what you just said. She kept going. And in my mind, I'm like, you saw us fly off that road. Like you could have stopped to check on us or something of that nature. But hey, I try not to cry over spilled milk. That's between her and her God, whoever she prays to. And I just try to take advantage of what I can control.
That's it. And so the rest of the story, the real story, is about what happened between you and your God from there.
Hmm.
You are an absolute inspiration because over the next few months and then years, rehabilitating and then redefining your life. You are
Hmm.
now a motivational speaker. You travel the country and you're constantly inspiring people. So I guess the really where I want to start this journey is, what is your motivation? What is it that's driving you to get out there and change so many people's lives?
I think my motivation is two things. Number one is understanding that I'm still here for a reason. So I call God Big G. I feel like so many people, yeah, Big G kept me around for some reason. So many people have perished in car crashes, and it's like, dang, I was the one of the few that actually survived. So why am I still
Mm,
here? What is my purpose? And that is number one, what motivates me. And secondly, what motivates me is realizing all the things that so many people have sacrificed to make sure I had everything I needed to be successful. From my friends, from my parents, from my support system. I've always said that my friends and my family never allowed me to have a disability. And what that means is everything
mm,
I've ever wanted to accomplish, they made sure I was able to do it. Whether it was I need a ride to college, I need somebody to fly with me to Italy, I need somebody to help me carry me up these stairs. Flesh, whatever you need, we want to make sure that you don't feel inadequate and make sure that you feel that you can do anything you want to do. So if I were to give up, I would not necessarily be giving up on myself. I'll be giving up on everybody who's ever sacrificed anything for me.
oh, that's so good. And one of the things that's obvious about you is people are not helping you because of your accident. People are helping you because you were always a good dude. That is very clear.
Yeah.
There's something about you, man, that people
Mhm.
want to show up for you. What is that thing? Have you just always been just a good-hearted person?
Man, if I knew, I would bottle up and not sell it. But I don't know. I don't know what it is about myself, but I think multiple people have always said that uh, there's so many people willing to help Fletcher do whatever he needs to be done, and that's a testimony of how great of a person he is. Because people don't want to help no a hole, people don't want to help no mean person, but it's like, hey, I need you to pick me up and drop me off. I got you, Fletch. Let me know what else you need me to do. And I never looked at it, but that was like that can test out the type of person you are. And I've always had to wanted to, even before the car crash. Like there's been times in high school that I've been suspended because I just don't like that. I don't even know what they was fighting for. I just saw three people fighting against one person. I don't know what they fight for. I just don't like the three people jumping on one person. I don't like that. Just try to stick it up for, or like I might see with me being most athletic, I want most athletic as a superlative in my high school. And just watching somebody, quote unquote, of a popular figure in high school, it's just, man, that dude over there been sitting by himself for lunch for the past 2 weeks. I'm gonna go there and sit with him. Like, hey, my boy, what's up? What's your name? Oh, I'm Mike. Whatever. Like, "Hey, what's up? Where you from?" Just having that genuine conversation is like, dang, Fletch really going over to talk to the non-popular kid. I'm like, hey, my boy, it was like you come sit with us now. Anywhere, anything you need, you let me know. And that type of, I guess, sense of I've always had of just trying to stick up for people and do what's right. I guess karma came back on me, and people tend to help me for some reason. I just try to stay positive. People love to have positive people around them, and I just try to stay positive.
The reality is everybody wants to be around positive people, but most people are actually not positive. They're like fake positive. There's a whole lot of negative people who act positive. I watched interview after interview after commercial after video, and I was like, this dude really is that positive. Like, there is something in you that really sees the good, really sees the beauty. And I think that ties into, you said there was two things. You said it's the people who are riding for you, the people who are supporting you, and your purpose. What do you believe your purpose is? Because something in that clearly gives you joy.
I think. See, that's why I think the beauty of it is not knowing what your purpose is and continuously striving for
Mm.
that reason. Like I feel like once you know your purpose, you're so quick to try to do things to accomplish that goal. But like, not
Hmm.
saying being lost, not saying not knowing your purpose, but knowing that you're still here for a reason. So let's say in a broader sense, my purpose is to motivate. And whether that is to be a speaker or to write a book or whatever the case may be, I take joy in doing all those things to continuously fulfill my purpose. So I take joy in constantly, and I also take a step back. I think purpose is defined by the stage you are in your life. My purpose I was when I was 10 is not the same purpose I had when I was 20. The purpose I have when I'm 20 is not the same purpose I have when I'm 30, and so on and so forth. And so understanding that the purpose you have in your life at this moment is destined for you to fulfill that. So that doesn't mean that once you've accomplished the things you are purposeful to do or designed to do, it doesn't mean your purpose is done. So, you might have, you fulfilled your
Mm.
purpose at the age of 30, but you ain't done what you're supposed to do when you're 40. You ain't done what you're supposed to do, whatever the case may be. So I don't know what my long answer short, I don't know what my long purpose is, but I know my purpose at this point in my life is to be a motivation.
Oh, that's so good. An ever evolving purpose means an ever evolving life because you have to keep growing to fulfill your purpose.
Absolutely.
Oh, that is so good. And I feel like if more people thought that way and more people embraced that, people wouldn't get so stuck in the past, right? Whatever it is that you were known for in that last season, yeah, absolutely. You look back on it, you're proud of it. But sometimes we idolize the past and it keeps us from truly living in the present. And it sounds like that mentality you have is how you don't make the past an idol.
Absolutely. Yeah. Just, I try to live in the present, understanding that living in the past does not mean you know, there's nothing you can change about yesterday. So, I've always, and this is my realm of thinking, I've always been a forward thinker. Like, all right, tell me what the issue is. Like, I want, like you just mentioned about the driver. All right, she caused it. Ain't nothing I can do about that. But what can I do about moving forward and making a better life for myself?
Here's the interesting thing. When my team and I sit down and look at our analytics, we find that the chances are that you, yes, I'm actually talking about you right now, that you are not subscribed to this channel. And so I just wanted to jump on and give you an official invitation. Would you please join us in subscribing to the channel? I'm so excited about the upcoming interviews that we have, some tremendous people, and I want to make sure that you don't miss it. This is going to give you an opportunity to get weekly inspiration that could take your leadership, take your organization, take your personal life to the next level. So would you go ahead and subscribe? And then don't keep this just to yourself. Would you share this episode with a friend, a family member, a coworker, an employee, someone who needs this weekly information? Let's get you into this week's episode.
And so as I got a chance to watch, one of the beautiful things, there was a commercial that was made, and it was, I believe it was made with like AT&T, and who was the other company?
ESPN.
Was it AT&T and ESPN, right?
Mhm.
And so in this commercial, the most touching clips, it's you and your pop, it's you and your mom, and I can see that your family just really had your back during that experience. Tell us a
Mhm.
little bit about the role that your family has played and you really walking into and embracing your purpose in life.
Yeah, tremendous. I've always contested that I would not be where I am today without those two individuals, and and an extended family, my grandmother, my cousins, and all the people I mentioned earlier, my friends. But in my eyes, just watching them sacrifice so much that they had to do, with me being an only child, and they're like, so this is what parents are supposed to do for children. This is what they're supposed to do.
Mm.
And then I'm like, I get it, but like, let me just give you an example. So, boom, I go to college, and I'm not driving at the moment. So my mother would wake up at 5 a.m. She would get me dressed. She would get me dressed, and then my dad would wake up a little later. Then he would take me to school. He would take me to school. I'd do my classes, do my thing. And then my mother would pick me up on her lunch break, but she doesn't have to have time to pick me up and take me home. So on her lunch break, she gets an hour. She would pick me up from college, take me to my dad's job. Then on his lunch break, he would take me from his job home. And they did that every day for 2, 3 years before I started driving. And just watching that type of sacrifice, and like, days it would be raining, My mother helping me get in the car, my wheelchair. She taking my wheel off, breaking my taking my wheels off and breaking my wheelchair down, and watching your mother do that stuff for you. It's like, oh no, I can't give up. Like I gotta graduate because look what my mama doing. And she ain't no spring chicken. She would complain about, ooh, my back hurt today, and I knew what it was. It was her bending over, breaking my chair down. So it's like I gotta get my stuff together, like of a better term, to help my family. And just watching what they sacrificed for me, like it just gave me that motivation to continue to strive.
That's so beautiful. Actually, the best part of your answer was the smile you had when I just mentioned your parents. That was probably actually the best part of the answer.
Oh
Is
yeah,
like your heart is on full display,
oh
and
yeah,
your
they're
heart is
my
also
peoples.
on full display. Right. So one of the things that I loved about one of the interviews I saw before was that you really put your entire group of friends on. Like you have a whole bunch of talented individuals that you knew from high school and college, and you really built a team around yourself of trusted people. Take us a little bit into that journey because that's special. And a lot of times we only see like the real famous athletes, right, putting their friends on. But I see that you're doing it at your level as a motivational speaker, and it's going to pay off over time. So talk to us a little bit about putting that team together.
Yeah, it was the no brainer for me. When I got to a position where I had to, for instance, let's say you see me flying to University of Central Florida and flying to LA and flying to Chicago for these speeches. But what people don't see is, 5 years ago when all my speeches were 5 hour drives away or 6 hours. So my brother, I call him my brother, but it's really my best friend, picked me up and put me in the car and we're getting a rental, him driving 6 hours and speaking, and then I'm speaking, and then we in a hotel in the middle of nowhere, Timbuktu, Tennessee, or whatever the case may be, right? These little Rudy Poo, Motel 8s and all this stuff.
Not Rudy Poo though. Not
Yeah,
Rudy Poo.
yeah. I mean, not hey, no shade against Motel 8, but I just, you know, but like that type of, so when I got to a position where I could, now we in first class and now we in the embassy suites and now we in the, I'm like, I already know who going with me. Like it's
Come
boom,
on.
it's you, yeah, boom, boom, boom. You pack it is up, like because you had done so much, well, not just one person, the entire crew had done so much for me to make sure that I was successful and done everything I've ever wanted to do. That when it was time to show my gratitude and show my appreciation, it was like, hey, the ESPY Awards. I got invited to the ESPY Awards, and what people don't see, is that okay, you see me on camera and you see, but it's six people behind this camera that's really like hyping me up, like good job, taking pictures on the phone, and I'm like, and
Uh-huh.
that's my squad.
Oh, that's amazing. You said that they're doing everything they can to help you be successful. I guess the next question is, do you feel successful? I mean, how do you at this juncture in your career define success and what is it going to take for you to feel successful? Are you already there?
So that's one of the things I'm currently working on. I said this in a interview, a podcast, I think yesterday or the day before, where because I'm so goal driven and I'm so ambitious that I never take an opportunity to appreciate the things I've already accomplished. So it's like,
Mm.
Fletch, you just became the number one you just became the number two motivational speaker. How do I become number one? All right, my boy, but take time to appreciate that you're the second best in the world or whatever, right? Just how they're speaking. Just when I accomplish something, it's like, hey, you just got 40 under 40 for it, you just became the number one speaker at Memphis. I'm like, how do I become number one speaker in Tennessee? Like, I get that there's
Mm.
always something more to strive for, but take time to appreciate what you've already accomplished. So to answer your question is how do I define success? It's a ever moving finish line, so to speak, and that's something I'm working on to try to appreciate things I've already accomplished. But success is, depends on who you are. It is ambiguous. It doesn't, like how you define success is not how I define success. Success for you may be getting married and having two kids and, settling down in a house in Ohio. And success for me may be, buying 150 acres worth of land and buying cows and buying chickens. And success for the next person may be buying a $10 million house or whatever the case may be. But for me, success is an ever moving goal. I just try to accomplish small victories. So my thing every day is just to have a good day. Every day, I want to have a good day.
Just a good day. Did you have one today?
No, yeah, the day ain't over. The day ain't over, but so far so good. Because listen,
your answer was supposed to be, "I'm on the podcast right now, so therefore, good day."
There we go. Supposed to be. Because listen, if you have a good day, today, and then tomorrow you wake up, you feel refreshed because you had a good day yesterday. So now you got a good day yesterday and today. And now you get a day yesterday, the day before, and today. And if you pile up enough good days, you'll have a good month. If you have enough good months in a row, you have a good year. And enough good years in a row is a good life.
Do you feel like you have a good life so far?
So far? Yeah. I think my life is fantastic. Because what makes my life, I think my life has always been, I've never had anything bad happen to me. I've had opportunities to overcome adversity. So if people say my car crash I'm so sorry. Don't be sorry. I made it. So you said, have I had a good life so far? Every day is a great day to me. I'm such an optimist because I remember vividly when I didn't have a pot to piss. That was Don Tripp, by the way. So every day is a good day because any day is above ground is a good day. Another opportunity to be better than you were yesterday.
There's so much in that mentality you have. For some of the people who are listening, let's say there's somebody, they've got the makings of a good life, but they don't feel like it's good. They've been frustrated, they've been stressed out, they've been depressed, whatever it is. Maybe they've even had success, they got money in the bank, but something feels like it's missing. What do you say to that person so they can start to embrace the day that they do have? How do they shift that mentality and that mindset?
I think shifting that mindset starts with the person in the mirror. Like if you start to focus on the things you have versus the things you don't, and focus on the positive versus negative, you'll see a small shift in your mindset. For instance, you said that some people might not feel like they're having a good life. And I would then ask them, why don't you feel like you have a good life? Oh, I don't have a good life because I haven't graduated college yet. Did you graduate high school? Yeah, I graduated high school. Are you of good health? Yes, I'm of good health. Are you, are you worried about your next meal? And it's like things of that nature. It's like be appreciative of things you do have. I think I forget the statistics, but if you have good health and you don't worry about your next meal, then you are better than like 70% of America, already. So it's like having those type of shift of thinking of being thankful for things you have versus worrying about things you don't can start a domino effect in positive thinking.
And so we know that there's these things called limiting beliefs. There's these beliefs that some people have that they can only go so far and then they'll hit a ceiling. And so we only have as much potential as our belief system. You have this belief system and this saying that you bring to the table, and you even wrote a book about it. The sky is not the limit. So where does that come from? And break that down for somebody, how they can begin to live with that mentality.
Yeah, it just came from me always thinking outside the box and always pushing the limits and testing the boundary. Don't tell me the sky is the limit when there's footprints on the moon. So basically what that means is the only limitations are the ones you impose on yourself up here. Don't allow anybody else to write your story. You are the author of your own story. You make your own decisions, of course. You might have people that help mold your story, but it's ultimately up to you to make those decisions. And I always say that you are a collectiveness of the 5 most people you hang around. So look at who you hang around the most, and that is a combination of you. And also, I challenge people when it comes to surrounding yourself. And this is what you're talking about the team earlier. I surround myself with positive people. Surround yourself with positive people, number one. And secondly, if you are the most successful person in your circle, that means your circle is too small. Surround yourself with people that are doing better than you. That way you can, you just have something to learn from or move towards, or, just think. I try to surround myself with positive people, number one. surround myself with people that are doing better than me according to my standards. Of course, they might, they're like, damn, Fletcher, you're such a positive person. And whatever better than you means to you, surround yourself with people like that.
Cut.
Okay, that's a wrap.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boy, Jody Eric Matthews, the director of King of the Block. And I just want to say, if it's Monday, I'm watching Hope Rising with Maurice F.
It's almost like we have to think about ourselves in terms of, I need somebody better than me in different areas of life, right?
There you
Because there's
go.
different types of better than me. Yeah, I do
Yeah.
the same thing. Actually, the producer, Jason, he's one of those guys, right? There's certain people that when you put them in your life, they will highlight something. For me, I'm a married man, I got kids. So I've got some people who show me fatherhood, right? I've got some people who show me business. I've got some people who just show me how to be a good God-fearing man, right? And so I think surrounding yourself with individuals who will push you or challenge you in different areas
hmm
is really how you become a well-rounded man. And that's what I really see you becoming in life, as a well-rounded man.
Exactly. I appreciate that. But you just hit the nail on the head. If I want to be a better husband, I need to surround myself with successful marriages. If I want to be a better businessman, I need to surround myself with successful business people, and so on and so forth.
And one of the things you talked about was a person's story or their perception of their story.
hmm
How does a person shift their story? Maybe they're like, "No, you don't understand, Fletch. My story is I've been set up to fail my entire life. Nothing has ever worked in my favor. Everything is always interrupting the plans that I have." How does a
There you
person
go.
begin to perceive their own
Yeah.
story differently?
So let's take that. All right, Fletch, you don't understand. My story, I've always been set up to fail my entire life. All right. Is the chapter done? Is the book over? No, no, the book ain't over yet. So, all right, how many times have you stopped a movie in the middle of the movie and just, all right, I'm done. I don't want to know the ending. No, it ain't over. So then to say so far, like my life has been set up for me to fail so far. My life has been set up for me to not succeed so far. But every day you wake up is another opportunity to write another page in the book that's not ending yet. As long as that line ain't flat in the hospital, that flat line ain't happening, you got an opportunity to rewrite any story you ever, there's always opportunity. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking.
That's what I'm loving. So the question is, what is the next big opportunity for you? You're already traveling the country. You're making waves. You just did a TED talk. I mean,
Mhm.
you are literally just all over the place. So what is next for you? What are the opportunities you're looking for and the ones you're taking advantage of right now in your life and in your career?
I look for any opportunity to spread my story and help anybody get out of the dark places they may be currently in. I've had so many people tell me, like, let's say over the past month, I've done maybe 25 podcasts or something like that. And people's like, Flex, you got a TED talk and you got all these, like, why don't you charge for these podcasts? I'm like, nah, this is easy. Like, I ain't gotta leave the house. I'm just here. I'm at the crib. So I'll do that for free. Just if that gives me an opportunity to help someone that's listening get out of any situation. So what's next for me is continuously spread my story, continuously spread my positivity, and travel the world. Now I do have personal goals I would like to accomplish. For instance, I would like to see all 8 wonders of the world before my time is up on this earth. And, I want to start a family of that, things. Those are personal goals I want to do. But for the most part, what's next for me is anything that allows me to be me.
Have you actually seen any of the eight wonders yet?
Yeah, I've seen 2 so far. I got 6 to go. I've
Okay.
seen Chichen Itza in Mexico, and I've seen the Colosseum in Rome.
Well, hopefully six of them you'll have the better half you're looking for, and
Mhm.
you can see them with her. Like that would be
I know,
that
right?
would be the
Yeah.
ideal situation.
Yeah, you're right. Things are more beautiful when you got someone to share the vision with.
That's it. That's it. I love it. I love it. Well, I'm not going to take up too much more of your time. Just a couple more questions. But one
Oh
thing I
man,
want to
for
do
sure.
for
You should.
sure,
Yeah.
Absolutely. One thing I want to make sure that we do is highlight your book, right? We're
Mhm.
talking about how you'll do whatever you can to spread that story, and so take us into. I know a couple years ago you put out your first book.
Mhm.
First of all, is that the only one that you've put out, or have you been a part of any other ones since then? And then just tell us a little bit about The Sky Is Not the Limit.
Yeah, so yeah, that's the only one I put out so far. I have been contemplating on doing another book. If we talk about what's next, maybe another book is what's next, or any opportunity I get to just do the things I love. But the book is basically, my story is hard to even when I give presentations. It's hard to wrap up an entire life experience in an hour presentation. So you
Ain't
have
it
a
though?
chapter dedicated towards myself. You talk about my parents. Each one of my parents have a chapter dedicated how it was getting that news of their only child is, in a car crash. It was the first NFL game of the season. My dad was upstairs watching the game. My mom was doing laundry, and just the phone rings, and just have the perspective of how they each perceive that information. And I was in the car with my roommate. This his perspective of how things happen versus my perspective as the driver. My therapist, how it was when Fletcher came into therapy and his mindset, and it's just everybody, things of that nature. So it is a very enlightening book. It gives different perspectives of the same story and different stages of it, and I love it. I think it's a fantastic book. I became an Amazon bestseller author within the first 4 days.
Beautiful. I love it. One thing I do want to do is to make sure that somebody, well, first of all, I want everybody who's listening go out and buy the book. But for
Mm-hmm.
one special person, whoever hits you up first, let's go ahead and give away a copy of your book. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to Cash App you. I'll take care of the shipping and handling. Just we're going to do this from Hope Rising because we feel like somebody needs this story and needs those perspectives. Maybe they're going through their own tragedy, but they
Mm-hmm.
need to see the hope in the tragedy, the potential in the tragedy, so that they're not defined by
Mm-hmm.
the tragedy anymore.
Absolutely.
So what is the best way? Do you want to have them email you, or what should we do? Somebody who wants to get that free copy of the book.
I would say hit me up on Instagram and put Hope Rising as the first line, so I know who uh, is reaching out because of this podcast. So find me on Instagram, Rolling on Faith. That's ROLLINONFAITH. And then my sub name is the Wheelchair Nomad. So hit me up, send me a message, and Hope Rising as the subject or the first line. And hey, I listen to the podcast. Here for the free book, and the first person to do that will receive that copy.
Let's go. I love it. So, Rolling on Faith, hit him up on IG, whether you're listening, whether you're watching on YouTube, and you will get, if you're the first one, you'll get that copy. But I just wanted to bless somebody with that. And I want to definitely encourage you. You definitely need to write another story, another
Mm-hmm.
book. You have a whole bunch of books in you. That's very clear.
No, I'm trying, man. I'm thinking. You know what's crazy? I'm not even like an author. Like I hate writing papers. I hated writing. You know, essays in college. But everybody was, excuse me, everybody was telling me like, Fletch, you need to write a book. You need to write a book. And I was like, I don't really know how to write a book. It was like, you speak all the time. Just do that in word form. I'm like, okay, we can see how it goes. And I got a writer, a professional writer to help me formulate my thoughts. And it came out to be a
Mhm.
fantastic opportunity.
Beautiful. Yeah, I've had the same experience. I've actually written two books in the last couple of years, and the second one is kind of my life story and my life journey. And
Mm-hmm.
what you find out at the end of the day is you've written your book before out loud,
Mm-hmm.
right? We tell these stories to people and we share these gems, and it's just about having the courage to take the gem and put it down on paper. And
Absolutely.
I think that more people need to find that courage and embrace that process for sure. So
Absolutely.
what else do we need to know about you before we wrap? What else do you have? I know that one thing that's very important to you um, has to do with cell phone safety and driving safety and
Mm-hmm.
how people drive and take care of themselves. So take us into that venture and that passion that you have now. Obviously, it's very personal to you and very personal for you. But just explain to us, what your mission is with that.
Yeah, so my car crash being caused by someone on a cell phone, I took it upon myself to be an advocate for distracted driving. So understand that driving is the most dangerous thing you would do on a daily basis. So with that being said, like you need to pay attention not only for the safety of yourself but the safety of others. The human brain cannot do two cognitive skills effectively at the same time. The term multitasking is a myth. Like your brain cannot do two things that require it to think simultaneously. But what your brain can do is switch between tasks so fast it gives the illusion that they're happening at the same time. So if you understand that, and you understand that when you're behind the wheel, you need to focus on the road and focus on the driving at hand. And understand that the cell phone can be addicting. Is what my TED talk is centered around. It's entitled "The World's Smallest Slot Machine," which is making a reference to the cell phone, because every time you get a notification, because of technology these days, we become addicted to it. That every time you get a notification, your brain releases endorphin as if you were hitting the jackpot. So essentially, the cell phone is the world's smallest slot machine. But understand that using a cell phone or driving is not the time to be using a cell
At all. All right. Are you ready for the big finale?
phone. I'm
This
ready,
is the
baby.
question. We'll see how ready he really is. All right.
Uh-oh.
So this is the one question that we ask everybody. So I want you to picture this. I want you to picture that there is a museum,
A
and
museum,
this
okay?
museum exists 100 years from now, and it's a
All
whole
right.
bunch of relics and artifacts from this day and age.
Okay.
Inside of the museum, there's a room, and the room is marked hope. When they get inside of the room of hope, they've got all these different ventures and machines and all these things, and they walk up to a time capsule, and the time capsule is marked Fletcher Cleaves. It's got your jersey from high school. It's got your book. It's got pictures of you standing in front of huge crowds, and then there's a video, and the video is this. The video is about what you believe hope is and how a person can embrace hope. What does a person see when they see Fletcher talking about hope?
When a person sees me talking about hope, I think they will, number one, be inspired. And secondly, I think the video that they may hear might sound a little something like, you know, I think hope is having the courage to continuously do something that you haven't seen benefits from. So it's like, um, having hope or faith, so to speak, is like knowing that the things I'm doing today will make a better future tomorrow or the next year or 5 years from now. So I think that's what hope is, because you have to have hope and faith to do the things that you're doing now. Like, doing this podcast at this very moment might not reap benefits immediately, but you hope that in the future they will. You hope that, or like even working out, that I might be working out, lifting weights today, but then as soon as I go home, I'm gonna look in the mirror and be like, lost 20 pounds that quick. But I know that, I hope that, as if I continuously do it, that the benefits or the satisfaction will come in the future, so to speak. So that was a great question. And let me see. I don't know how many people you've asked. What would be? Let me give you a question.
I'm ready.
If you was in a museum 100 years from now, what would, same scenario? What would hope mean to you?
It would be similar. Hope would be the belief that where you are today is just a snapshot, and that over time, God is going to take everything you do from here and move you so much farther, so much more detailed, mature you so much that by the time you reach the end of your journey, they can only see God in the storyline. How did he get there? I see. That's what I see. When I see your journey, right? I see you didn't have to do what you've done, right? You could have just gave up right there. You didn't have your career anymore. You didn't have football anymore. You didn't have those dreams. And if the story ends there, nobody would have blamed you. But because of the fact that you've got this fire in your belly, this intensity in your being, they see God in you. And that's what I want them to see in my journey. I don't look like where I've been. I don't look like what I've come through. And hope was the fuel, and faith was the fuel with God that got me there. So that's kind of what I think of when I think of hope. Yeah,
Hey,
absolutely.
nothing wrong with that, my brother. Nothing wrong with that.
So somebody has loved you, Fletch. They wanna book you. They want to get you at their school, their office, whatever it is. How does a person book you? How does somebody find you online? Just give them all the basic information.
Yeah, so if you go to FletcherCleaves.com, you'll be able to find my social media handles. You'll be able to find my book on Amazon. You'll be able to locate my TED Talk, my AT&T commercial, my story, my blog post from a wheelchair nomad with me traveling abroad as, number one, as an American, number two, as a Black American, and number three, as a disabled Black American.
Yes,
so
sir.
all the accounts, you can find videos of me skydiving and just continuously pushing life to the limits. So if you go to FletcherCleaves.com, you can find some gear. You can get some Fletcher Cleaves or Wheelchair Nomad apparel. Just go to FletcherCleaves.com and browse around.
What kind of apparel you got?
Hoodies, t-shirts, crew necks. I think that's majority of it. Women's t-shirts.
I love it.
Basically hoodies, t-shirts, crew necks, and long sleeve t-shirts.
Beautiful. We're going to buy a t-shirt as well. We're going to give that away as well. Mm-hmm. Let's go ahead and give away a t-shirt. So if a person wants to get one of Fletcher's t-shirts, go ahead and hit them up online. I just want to bless you. We just want to be a blessing to you because we really appreciate you joining us today. And I love what you're doing. So anyway, we can support you. That's what we're going to do. So you guys have two opportunities. There's two different giveaways on this episode. One of them is a t-shirt and the other one is a book. All right. Well, thank you so much for joining us. It has been just a great experience talking to you. I'm hoping you can become one of the members of my circle because I need you to help me level up in this speaking game, this talking game, right? So
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, no, but it's been beautiful. And I hope that you guys, as you have listened today, that this has inspired you and that this has given you a different thought about your own process. Never did he talk about a tragedy. I was the only person who said the word, right? Because what he sees is that he's lived a life, the life has had events, and that the events catapulted him into his destiny. And if you can't get anything out of that, then you have missed an amazing opportunity to grow. I know that I've grown. And so hopefully, if you didn't grow yet, go back to the beginning of the interview, listen again, and then would you do me a favor and share this with a friend? You got somebody who needs this podcast. You guys know you can listen. You can check it out on YouTube. Have you subscribed, by the way, yet to our YouTube channel, or maybe you're listening on Apple Music, Spotify, somewhere else? Have you already followed the podcast? If you haven't, please do. Lastly, we are looking for new sponsors still for the podcast. Maybe you love the messages, you've loved the inspiration so far, and you say, Maurice, I want to be a part of this podcast. Then we want to invite you to hit us up. Let us know what you're thinking, because we are currently looking for sponsors. Maybe you've got a brand and you want to get that brand out. This is the perfect opportunity to do so at the start of season 2. And so with that, I look forward to seeing you guys next Monday on Hope Rising, where the inspiring go for inspiration and the unfulfilled go for fulfillment. We'll see you guys soon.